Here's some botched up extra bits. Fries on the side.
What's up? This is the Botching It Up Chit Chat show, the pre-show, the kickoff, if you like, to our main podcasts. As always, you're with me, Benito, and my good friend Basil.
How we doing?
And have you heard, I know you've heard, but listener, have you heard that Logan Paul is fighting Mayweather?
Right, so we need to get down to business with these Paul brothers. You've got Logan, who's just come off WrestleMania.
Oh, I said the wrong one, didn't I?
But it's fine. We're a wrestling podcast. So, but you've got Logan, who's just fresh off a little WrestleMania spot where he took a stunner from Kevin Owens, going into a fight with Floyd Mayweather. On the other hand, you've got Jake Paul, and I've only recently learned who these people are.
Wait, so Jake Paul's not the one that's fighting Mayweather?
No, so Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather. He's the guy that was at WrestleMania. He's the big brother. Jake Paul has just finished squashing Ben Askren, and he is getting in the face of Daniel Cormier right now.
Right, mate, I'm so confused. I thought it was the Jake kid that was fighting Mayweather. Because
I keep in contact with the Paul brothers so that you don't have to.
Thank you.
I try and acknowledge.
Thank you. Yeah, well, no, because I thought he was the one that was going to become a serious boxer, whereas Logan Paul is just a celebrity.
I think it's just a game of one-upmanship. Like, Logan Paul realized that Jake Paul was actually getting a lot of traction, so he wanted to get some too. But, okay, so let me just go through the Pauls really quickly with you, and then I'm going to ask your opinion of sports. Jake Paul has so far fought a YouTuber, a basketball player, and an MMA fighter.
But a wrestler MMA fighter that was known for really bad striking. MMA fighter. Ben Askren, yeah.
And who also seems like a lot like he took the money.
Well, yeah, he was retired and fat now.
I mean, took the money to go down.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Logan Paul has gone from two YouTubers straight to Floyd Mayweather. I assume the gimmick here at some point is to get one of the Paul brothers against McGregor so that McGregor can knock him out clean in like a minute. What is your opinion on these Paul brothers invading fighting sport? And one thing that I really enjoyed that you mentioned, one thing that I think really sums it up, do you believe that these fights, these exhibition matches between celebrities are fixed? And do you think we are starting to move towards boxing as sort of 1920s to 1930s professional wrestling?
Yeah, it has such a early wrestling vibe about it. Whether they're fixed or not, I've spoken to a lot of people at work, actually. A lot of hardcore fight fans are starting to think that this is fixed. It just feels like it's not a sport anymore. It's becoming a bit of a joke. Like, YouTube is invading a sport that in the last couple of years... boxing for hundreds of years, but MMA for the last couple of years has really become a huge global sport, like the fastest growing sport, whatever they call it. And these guys are making a joke of it.
Well, I mean, Dana White has been very, very clear that he wants nothing to do with this shit. He said he's never booking a Paul brother. He's not interested whatsoever.
I'm not sure, though. You know Dana.
Yeah, what?
Dana said 10 years ago women would never fight in the UFC, and then he made Ronda Rousey his biggest star, you know? So
I think one of the main things is that he put CM Punk on a pretty decent contract, and I think he was burnt from that. Because, I mean, did you watch the Ben Askren Jake Paul fight?
I watched the knockout. I didn't watch the fight.
Did that knockout look like 100% legit to you?
No. It was strange.
No, it didn't. It really didn't, did it? Like, and the ref called for the bell almost immediately without even checking. The ref kind of called for the bell before he even went down.
So do you think Ben Askren was involved in the finish, or do you think it was just a dirty ref?
I think he was involved in the finish. I think he came out of retirement, wore some flip-flops. Like, you saw how well prepared he was for his fight when in the press conference. He had a dad bod going. I think he just took the money and run and just gave himself no self-respect.
What I find strange, though, this whole Thriller event, is there was so much money flying around. And the pay-per-view, to be fair, there's a ton of pay-per-view buys. But there just seems like there's too much money being floated around that it just seems like a publicity stunt for YouTube.
I did kind of feel the same, like especially when you got Snoop Dogg on commentary and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, I just made $2 million on a bet. I don't know. I don't know.
Really, what I want to know from you is where can you see this sport going in the next 5 years? If you've got YouTubers continue to come in, I mean, Mayweather gave. Do you really think? I mean, even 6 months ago, Mayweather gave McGregor an actual fight. It feels a lot like now Floyd Mayweather comes in, does 6-7 rounds of sparring, and then knocks out, and everybody's grateful for the money.
Mayweather's tarnishing his legacy at this point. Did you see that really embarrassing fight he had over in Japan?
No.
He fought, I can't remember the guy's name. It was a Japanese MMA fighter. He was like early 20s. He's meant to be the next biggest thing, and Mayweather said he'd fight him, but not in an MMA fight. He'd be in a boxing exhibition. So this MMA guy could only box, and Mayweather just stood on the outside, popped him a few times, and knocked him out, and made the guy look like a fool. And he was meant to be the next big thing in Japan. And everyone was like, "It's not even fun to watch anymore."
No,
because...
yeah, I mean, this is it though. Like that's been Mayweather's career for a very long time. But
yeah, but when it's up against another world elite boxer that like maybe could knock him out, there's some intrigue.
I just don't like the way that boxing is going. Between Floyd Mayweather taking cash to spar with celebrities, Jake Paul and Logan Paul running riot. You've got 52-year-old Mike Tyson calling out other 50-year-olds that he used to fight with. And these seem to be the things that the casual market are purchasing on pay-per-view. Actual good fights are being ignored.
I think there's just not enough interest in boxing anymore. So they're having to do these big, elaborate shows to sell pay-per-view buys.
But with this short-term buzz, do you think that the casual market are going to hang on? Because as you've said to loads of people, loads of people have talked to you, and they believe that it's fixed. How long before boxing or this particular type of boxing goes the way of wrestling? People realize it's fixed.
Yeah, I
off?
don't think this is just a bubble. This ain't gonna last long. I don't think. A couple more YouTubers or celebrities maybe, but a couple years and then this will be gone. And this might be the final nail in the coffin for boxing as well. It might drag the whole...
That's what I was going to say. That's what scares me a little bit, because you've just said that it just exists in a bubble, but I would say that this is boxing now to most of the population. It kind of feels like boxing itself
the world
is the bubble.
excited for Tyson versus AJ.
They're your last true superstars, I think.
But then doesn't whichever the bigger brother is, Logan Paul or whichever one of them wants to fight AJ, right?
Oh, that's not gonna happen, man. That's not.
I don't know if he's big enough. Is he? If he's fighting Mayweather, then he's too small to fight AJ. Surely, Mayweather is only what is he?
As far as I was aware, Logan Paul's like 6 foot. So I don't really know what's going on here. I don't think weights and heights even matter anymore, Ben, in boxing.
So it is now just wrestling.
Yeah.
It's Rey Mysterio versus Big Show. Fuck it, who cares?
And Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather have both been involved in WrestleMania, and you're really telling me that we're going to get a shoot fight?
Man, it's a weird one. I don't know why Mayweather's... Well, I do know, because he's poor, isn't he? He spends his money quicker than he makes it.
Most of the people I know got bored of, finally gave up on Mayweather when he fought Pacquiao, and just danced around for about 12 rounds.
Well, I don't know. The McGregor thing was huge. Everyone in the world watched that.
But the McGregor thing, again, still felt fixed.
Yeah, well, that's what started this all off.
I don't believe that McGregor stood up with Floyd Mayweather if Floyd Mayweather was actually trying for 7 rounds.
You know what I find weird about that fight is if it wasn't fixed. Did you ever hear about the terms in the contract that if McGregor did anything, he would lose like $2 million per penalty?
No.
Yeah. So basically, he couldn't throw any MMA moves in, but the amount of money he made, wasn't it like 300 million or something?
Yeah,
the amount of money he's made. Why didn't he just like pop one elbow, take a warning from the ref, but like really hurt Mayweather? You know?
Because he wasn't trying to win.
True.
Neither guy was trying to win. Mayweather's got a routine now. He's probably got it on a schedule, like a piece of paper that he hands to his opponent before they fight. You do this round, I do this round. We do that together for a couple of rounds, and then I knock you out. Cool?
That's pro wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's literally...
Final thoughts on the Paul brothers. And,
Well,
your
I don't
personal
like him.
your personal opinion on Jake Paul versus Daniel Cormier.
But did you hear what Cormier said? He said, "I'm gonna fucking murder you," and then Joe Rogan on commentary was like, "If these two fight, it's gonna be a homicide."
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And then I watched the post-fight press conference, and all the fighters were like, "I don't want to give this guy time of day. I don't want to give him the opportunity to fight me. Like, he's 3 fights in. Why does he deserve to step in with us?" You know?
So you're saying that though, but I went on YouTube to show my girlfriend who Daniel Cormier was, and there was a video that was released basically a day after the fight of his greatest bits, his greatest hits compilations.
Yeah.
It's got like 7-8 million views. That's Jake Paul.
Yeah. You can see why the guys... A lot of fighters have said that they're interested in it because of creating a bigger payday than what Dana White gives them. I guess
I think these
that's
Paul
better for the
brothers are
business.
pretty. I think these Paul brothers are pretty scary. Like, they're getting a lot of power now. Jake Paul, about a week out before the fight, had a sexual assault allegation against him, and nobody ever heard of it again. They're getting to a point where they're becoming untouchable, and I don't really understand the appeal behind them. But I can say that they're both pretty good heels.
Oh, the best heels in the game at the moment. Now that McGregor's gone.
That's kind of sad, isn't it?
A little
Two
bit.
YouTubers outclassing every heel in the wrestling business.
A little bit. Well, this is the thing. None of them are calling out anybody for an MMA fight. It's only ever boxing. So they're too scared to face these MMA guys. But
I still think it's because they realise that UFC won't be fixed.
yeah, sure.
You can call me a conspiracy nut if you want, but I don't think any single Paul fight or any single Mayweather fight from the last maybe 2 years has been a shoot.
I don't know about Mayweather, but these pool guys definitely, because if they get like a 6-0 record, then they're going to start doing big numbers. But they need to fight real athletes. But they need to make stars because all the UFC big stars are retiring, and no one gives a shit about McGregor anymore. You know, he's done. Definitely, if he loses their next fight, he's done. He needs to go and have a charity boxing fight with one of the Logan brothers or whatever.
I think McGregor about a year ago should have either jumped ship to WWE or gone into a film. Nobody wants to see him fight anymore.
I still think there's millions to be made if he goes to WWE.
But this is the thing, man. This is the thing. Why have they chosen boxing? Why have these guys chosen boxing? Is it because they've got frail masculine egos? Because the Paul brothers would make a mint in WWE. Most of these celebrities would. And you know Vince would have them. Vince would throw cash at them, and
I'm guessing
give
there's
them a
just
promo.
I guess there's more money in it. Maybe it seems like it's harder work because
so.
you gotta make sure that it's a massive pay-per-view deal. Whereas with WWE, I suppose you could go there for 6 months, pick up several million easy without doing much work.
If McGregor wants a really easy paycheck, he can just come in and go ask for like $1 million less than Brock Lesnar and work 10 dates a year and be the champion.
It's just whether he
And
wants
Vince
to
would be
do
quite
wrestling.
happy with that.
You know, he's quite a hard nut from Ireland, in a rough area of Dublin. You know, he's a fighter to the bone. So it's whether he wants to go and play wrestling with Vince.
I can see a lot of shoots happening if he did
Yeah, a
turn
lot.
up. Final thoughts on the Paul brothers?
Well, I don't like him. I think it's bad look on the industry. But everyone's making money, so I guess it's good for the business.
There we go.
But it is pro wrestling, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's why we're analysing it on a pro wrestling show.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we hardly ever talk UFC or boxing. But it's come into our world.
Well, as long as
What do you think of them?
I think they're lousy, bro.
Because you're a bigger boxing fan than me nowadays. I don't really keep up with it.
I read Boxing Weekly, Boxing News, I think it's called, and they're all middle-aged men that moan about everything anyway. But since the Paul brothers came in, they have been doing soap articles, like article boxes, 3-4 pages about how this is finally the death of boxing.
I agree with them, I think.
Yeah, I think that at the moment, all of the boxing promoters are giddy with excitement about how much money they're making, but I also think that I agree with you. Once this is over and the people no longer want this particular circus and they go find another one, boxing is done. because you can't come back. We've learned from wrestling that you can't come back from something as silly and not real as what they're currently doing, and then expect people to believe in your product or your sport again.
Yeah, very true. And you know what? If that Thriller event is anything to go by, the commentary on that was a joke. I read some of the stuff that the guys were saying. They completely fucked on Frank Mir, who is a former world champion, who was like in the opening bout of the night, I think. And then the third bout of the night was a lightweight champion, like a legit boxer, but just in an exhibition match or something. And they were shitting all over him. Yeah, and then they were like up the ass of this Logan Paul guy. Oh, not Logan
Jake
Paul.
Paul.
Jake Paul guy.
You're never gonna get this right, bro.
I'm not. And it's just like you're kissing the ass to a YouTuber that's like made you $2 million on a bet or whatever, but you're completely shitting off the real athletic guys. So you are living in a bubble. Once the people get bored of these guys, no one else is going to want to be involved with you. So it's not a sustainable business plan, is it?
As far as I'm concerned, if you are fool enough to actually purchase these pay-per-views for like $40, then you deserve what you get.
Apparently it wasn't even a good pay-per-view because there was too much like dancing and music, and like it didn't feel like a real fight night.
Well, no, it was more like an extravaganza, wasn't it? Which is exactly what we're talking about. Where the fact this is a circus. This is a circus act for 3 hours.
Well.
There you go.
Well. So this week we're watching Backlash. Because
this one's gonna be fun.
Because Backlash is this month, and also we started playing SmackDown vs. Raw, and the first pay-per-view of that is Backlash. So we just decided to watch Backlash 2006. For why not? That'll be up this week some point.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. McMahon is book God.
Until then, keep it botched up.
Brother.
Like, share, and subscribe to keep it botched up, brother.